Athletic directors want to freeze out Notre Dame? Oh, this is getting spicy.
You are Locked On ACC, your daily podcast on the Atlantic Coast Conference. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello, everyone, and welcome in a Locked On ACC. I'm Jackson Holzer, the host of Locked On Syracuse, and thank you for making Locked On ACC your first listen of every single day here on the Locked On Podcast Network, now the number one sports podcasting network. Of course, it's your team every day, and of course, we're always free and available wherever you get your podcasts. And on today's show, we're talking some ACC hoops. That's right. We are doing an early power rankings for ACC basketball so far this season. But we got to start this podcast, your daily update regarding Notre Dame's temper tantrum after being left out of the college football playoff with a surprising plot twist from the other teams. All of that and more coming up here on today's edition of Locked On ACC. And before we get to everything, this episode is brought to you by FanDuel. If you want to be right in the middle of the action this season, visit FanDuel.com and place your NFL live bets all season long. Notre Dame's temper tantrum is kind of, sort of, being met with a response. The latest reporting from Yahoo Sports' Dan Wolken, athletic directors are now attempting, or at least threatening, to freeze out Notre Dame from their future schedules. Now, before we really break down what this means for the ACC and what this means in general, we got to set the stage. So let's provide context for you all, ladies and gentlemen. Yahoo Sports' Ross Dellinger reported just a few days ago that starting next season, Notre Dame will receive preferential treatment for the college football playoff. That's right, ladies and gentlemen, preferential treatment. Apparently last year, Notre Dame and college football playoff officials signed an agreement where if Notre Dame in the 2026 season finishes top 12 in the college football playoff standings, they would essentially be guaranteed a college football playoff bid. That doesn't exist for any other team as far as I'm concerned, where, hey, if this team finishes top 12, they are automatically in the college football playoff. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. They're in no matter what, even though, you have group of 5 teams and conference champions that are going to take up slots in that top 12. Kind of weird, right? And if the college football playoff were to, say, expand to 14 teams for next season, well, if Notre Dame were to finish in the top 13, they would also be assured a college football playoff bid. Aside from the fact that I don't understand how that deal was even remotely signed. I mean, I get it from Notre Dame's perspective. I mean, of course, you're going to sign that deal if someone is offering that to you, a free trip to the college football playoff. If you automatically finish top 12, I mean, of course, you're going to take it. From the other side, it's not fair at all, but that is not the point of this podcast. The point of this podcast is the response from athletic directors, which goes back to the report I mentioned earlier in the show, which is Yahoo Sports' Dan Wolken saying that athletic directors are threatening to freeze out Notre Dame from their future schedules. First off, actions speak a lot louder than words. It's one thing for these athletic directors to hide anonymously through a reporter saying, fee, fi, fo, fum, we're going to stomp out Notre Dame. We're not going to play them next year or in future years because of this stupid agreement that was agreed upon by these college football playoff officials. This is dumb. This is wrong. We're not going to play them. I get the sentiment. Totally agree. But actions speak louder than words. We know that Notre Dame is an attraction. People want to see Notre Dame, whether they're going in person to games or they are watching them on their television. Notre Dame is a big draw. So those schools and those athletic directors saying we're threatening to stomp them out to keep them off our schedule, I'll believe it when I see it. As far as the ACC is concerned, right now, the conference and Notre Dame, as many of you guys are aware, they have an agreement where Notre Dame will play at least 5 ACC games every season. In 2026, Notre Dame will actually play against the ACC 6 times. Those games are at UNC, Miami, Boston College, SMU, at Syracuse, and Stanford. That's TBD. I don't know what is going to happen between now and next college football season because Notre Dame is still throwing a temper tantrum and still throwing the ACC under the bus for missing the college football playoff. Even though, ladies and gentlemen, let's be real here, the reason why Notre Dame isn't in the college football playoff is simply because they did not win their games. That is why they are not in the college football playoff, but they can make whatever excuses they want. They played 2 good teams all year. They lost to them both, one of which had them head-to-head in Miami. Throw whatever temper tantrum you want, Notre Dame. And it might work out for them, to be honest with you, because they could do essentially whatever they want. Here's the deal, though. I'm struggling to figure out what a freeze out would honestly do. I guess the end goal for these athletic directors is to get Notre Dame to ultimately join a conference. Their goal, from my understanding, is, hey, if we force Notre Dame to play 12 cupcakes a year, then A, if they have any sort of trip up, then they're not going to have a good enough resume for the college football playoff to be considered top 12. And B, even if they were to go 12-0, they have no impressive victories. So how could you put them top 12, right? Problem is that I don't see that really happening, where they would be left out of the college football playoff if they were to go 12-0 with cupcakes. Because let's say the teams in the power conferences that are playing Notre Dame next year, which are Wisconsin, Michigan State, Purdue, and USC, they all say no to Notre Dame. And I'm not even talking about the ACC right here. Notre Dame is probably going to just fill their schedule with more cupcakes. That's what they're probably going to do. And so I just don't understand how this is going to prevent Notre Dame from getting in the top 12 and getting that stupid deal that was signed to trigger. It seems like it could be a good idea because if Notre Dame were to go like, let's say 10-2 with a paper soft schedule or 11-1, maybe it would force them to join a conference, but I don't really see that happening. I think Notre Dame right now is perfectly content not being in a conference and not having to share any of their revenue, which, by the way, how much of their revenue did they share when they were in the college football playoff last season with the ACC? Oh, that's right, 0. So yeah, the ACC owes Notre Dame absolutely nothing here. My suggestion for these athletic directors is to gather up the world's best scientists, try to find a way to build a time machine so you can go back in time and undo that stupid deal that was signed, which would guarantee Notre Dame a playoff spot if they were top 12 starting in the 2026 season. That's what I would do, because you could throw a temper tantrum all you want in response to Notre Dame throwing a temper tantrum, but a freeze out? That's not going to work. What will work is actually beating Notre Dame. If you are Michigan State, beat them. If you are USC, beat them. If you are an ACC team, as we saw this season with Miami, beat them. Leave no doubt. Because a freeze out, you think the committee and the college football playoff officials who just signed that deal to have Notre Dame be top 12, they're automatically in? You think they're going to leave out a 12-0 Notre Dame that's played a cupcake schedule out of the college football playoff entirely? I don't really think so. But comment your thoughts right now in the comments section below. What do you make of this report from Yahoo Sports that athletic directors are threatening a freeze out of Notre Dame? Comment in the comments section below, because coming up, no more coverage for now of this Notre Dame and this response in the college football playoff and all the politics behind it. We're talking some hoops next on Locked On ACC. Let's talk about something most men don't bring up, but absolutely should. Stress from work, money, life. It doesn't just switch off at night. And when it shows up at the worst possible time, Rougiette Ready is designed to help you take back control. Rougiette Ready is a next-gen prescription treatment created to support both the brain and the body so you can feel present, confident, and ready when the moment matters. It's easy to understand why over 150,000 men have already made the switch. If you've been thinking about taking the next step, now's the time. Head to Rougiette.com/LockedOnCollege. That's RUGIET.com/LockedOnCollege to get 15% off your order for a limited time. Rougiette Ready. Feel present, feel confident, feel ready. NFL Sundays move fast. One big play and suddenly everything feels different. That's what makes live betting with FanDuel so exciting. You're not just watching the game, you're reacting to it in real time. With FanDuel, you can place bets as the action unfolds, every drive, every momentum swing, every highlight moment. Live betting is best when the game starts to shift, a receiver gets hot, a defense tightens up, or the momentum flips after a turnover. FanDuel lets you jump into the moment. You could bet the next touchdown scorer, drive results, totals, and more. It keeps you locked into every snap, every drive, every possibility. So if you want to be right in the middle of the action this season, visit FanDuel.com and place your NFL live bets all season long. FanDuel, the game moves fast, and so can you. Locked On ACC, I'm Jackson Holzer. All right, enough with the Notre Dame drama. Who cares about Notre Dame? They can sit and cry and watch the college football playoff like the rest of us. Let's talk about some basketball, shall we? Because the ACC, as I mentioned last week here on this show, is in a much better place than it was last season. Last season, the conference only had 4 teams reach the NCAA tournament, and only one of those teams got past the round of 64. Of course, that was Duke going to the Final Four. This year, according to ESPN's latest bracketology, which I'll admit is a little bit dated, it's coming from December 9th from Joe Lunardi. It has 8 ACC teams currently in the field in no particular order. Those 8 teams are Duke, Clemson, Louisville, Miami, North Carolina, SMU, NC State, and Virginia. So let's power rank them, shall we? Not just those 8 teams, but the entire conference. And starting with number 1, let's go with, let me get a little time to think about this one. Oh yeah, Duke. Is Duke going to remain number 1 all year when we do power rankings here on Locked On ACC? Comment your thoughts right now in the comments section below. They are a perfect 10-0. They have beaten Kansas. They've beaten Arkansas. They've beaten Florida. They have a road win at Michigan State. Cameron Boozer is amazing. He's averaging 23 and 10. They got a top 5 offense in the ACC, the number 1 defense in the ACC. They have played a tough schedule. They have passed every single test thus far. They are ranked 3rd in the latest AP poll. Duke basketball, they have not won the NCAA tournament since 2015. Last year was a great opportunity to change that. This year might be an even better opportunity to change that. Are the Duke Blue Devils going to win the national championship this season? Comment your thoughts right now in the comment section below. Regardless of how you feel, they are certainly amongst the favorites in all of college basketball, and they are rightfully number 1 in the ACC basketball power rankings. 2nd and 3rd are pretty close together. I had a hard time differentiating between these 2 teams. Louisville and North Carolina. Both of these teams are certainly capable of challenging Duke and ultimately winning the ACC, but actually both of them have a loss. And so that's really what's holding them back. Duke is perfect. Duke has played a tough schedule and they have gone through everyone. These teams have both lost games, even with tough schedules. Louisville, they lost at Arkansas, but they do have a good win against Indiana. They might have a good win against Kentucky. We'll see if they can get their act together, but it doesn't really look all that good in Kentucky land right now. You can go check out Locked On Kentucky when you are done with this podcast to find out more because, yeah, it's not good over there right now, but maybe they turn their season around. Mikel Brown Jr., star freshman for Louisville. He's been a little bit struggling as of late. He has shot under 40% from the field in 5 consecutive games. Now, as Dalton Pence will tell you on Locked On Louisville, he still can impact the game in a variety of ways, so I'm not really criticizing Mikel Brown Jr. too much here on this show. I'm just pointing out that fact for you all. He has shot below 40% in 5 consecutive games from the field. Once he gets going, once that shot starts to fall, Louisville becomes that much more dangerous because they're still winning. but they need Mikel Brown Jr. to start hitting his shots. Then you got North Carolina. Their only loss is to Michigan State. It was by 16 points. Duke just so happened to beat Michigan State on the road, but they've also got some good wins. They also beat Kentucky. That was a road game. And they did beat Kansas. I believe that was their second game of the season. And Kansas, in that game, they did have Darren Peterson. It's one thing to beat Kansas when they didn't have Darren Peterson, and some teams were able to take advantage of that. North Carolina beat them at full strength. So, pretty impressive stuff from North Carolina. Their one weakness, and I think it's the one thing that right now might be holding back North Carolina, is they are shooting less than 32% from the three-point line. That is bottom 5 in the ACC. If they want to make a run this season, they certainly need that three-point shot to start falling. And then you got what I would like to call teams 4 through 7, which is a clump of good. All of these teams have looked pretty solid to start this season, but there is just something that is holding them back from being, in my opinion, a top 3 team in the ACC. You got Virginia, who I have at number 4 in the power rankings, new head coach in Ryan Odom. They are 21st in the net at the time of this recording, 9-1 record overall. What's holding them back? For a lot of these teams, including Virginia that we're about to talk about, it's their schedule that is holding them back. Virginia has not beaten a single team that is currently projected to make the NCAA tournament per the latest ESPN bracketology. So while Virginia has done an excellent job so far taking care of business with their schedule, what are they going to look like when they start playing some of the top teams in the ACC come conference play? You got Clemson. Clemson is only 7-3, but they have dominated in most of their wins. And the one win that they did not dominate against just so happened to be against Georgia, who is a projected 8 seed in the NCAA tournament. They've also lost close games to BYU and Bama. Both of those teams are top 3 currently projected seeds in the NCAA tournament right now. One problem with Clemson isn't necessarily their schedule. It's the fact that they lost to Georgetown, ranked 121 in the net. Maybe that was just a one-off. I'm inclined to believe that it was a one-off game for them, but nevertheless, that's a pretty bad loss for Clemson. So they have shown that they can compete with anyone in college basketball. Close losses to BYU and Bama. Yeah, you're a pretty good team. Even though you didn't beat those teams, you're pretty good just being able to hang with those teams. But also, they showed in a loss against Georgetown that their floor, well, is pretty low. So that's what's holding them back a little bit, but I still have them 5th currently in ACC power rankings, and they are right now projected to make the NCAA tournament pretty comfortably. In 6th, I got SMU, 9-1. So like Virginia, credit to them for being able to handle their competition so far, taking care of business. Problem? Who have they beaten? Who has SMU beaten this season? They got Butler. They're 43rd in the net at the time of this recording. I guess that is a quality win for SMU. They beat Mississippi State in overtime, but Mississippi State is ranked 153 in the net, so not exactly impressive. Texas A&M also in overtime. Texas A&M is 88th in the net at the time of this recording. And in SMU's toughest opponent that they have faced so far this season, Vanderbilt, they got absolutely destroyed in that game. And finally, to round off the clump of good, the Miami Hurricanes with new head coach Jay Lucas, their 8 wins that they have this season are already more than what they had all of last season, which was 7. And if you recall, a few weeks ago, maybe it was over a month ago when we were doing an ACC squad, I actually mentioned Miami as a team that could finish top 4 in the ACC this season. And so far, they're not top 4, but I might not be wrong about that take because Miami looks pretty good. But what's holding them back right now is, again, their schedule and who they have beaten. They have lost to Florida and BYU by a combined 24 points. Those are the top opponents that they have played. They did win at Ole Miss. That's a decent win, but Ole Miss currently is ranked 106 in the net. So it's Not the most impressive resume so far for Miami, but still a team that right now is significantly better than where they were at last year. Comment your thoughts in the comments section below. Do you have the same top 7 teams as I do? Let me know your thoughts in the comments section below. Now, coming up, we're rounding off the ACC basketball power rankings. We'll talk about that next on Locked On ACC. The holidays are officially here, which means gift hunting season is on. And if you want something meaningful, personal, or guaranteed to get a reaction, Aura Frames is the gift that delivers every time. It's not just something you wrap. It's a way to share memories because Aura isn't your average picture frame. You can preload the frame with photos before gifting it, so when they plug it in, the memories are already there. No apps to figure out, no setup headaches, just instant smiles. And it's a holiday gift that actually gets used, not just, forgotten in a drawer. For a limited time, save on the perfect gift by visiting auraframes.com to get $35 off Aura's best-selling Carver matte frames, named #1 by Wirecutter by using promo code COLLEGE at checkout. That's auraframes.com, promo code COLLEGE. This deal is exclusive to listeners, and frames sell out fast. So order yours now to get it in time for the holidays. Support the show by mentioning us at checkout. Terms and conditions apply. Top 7 teams in the ACC power rankings, in my opinion, in order. You got Duke, Louisville, North Carolina, Virginia, Clemson, SMU, and Miami. Now, coming in at number 8 is where I start to deviate a little bit. I'm going to go with Cal here at number 8. Cal is a team that we have not talked about really at all here on Locked On ACC because we have been not really talking a lot about basketball, but that is going to change, obviously. Cal is currently 9-1 overall. They have a quad 1 win against UCLA. Their only loss was at Kansas State, which right now is quad 2. And Cal shoots really well from three-point land at 37%. That is 4th in the ACC. And when you're a team that can shoot the ball at a high level, it makes it so that you can hang with some of the best teams in the country, even if you have less talent than them. I always use this reference, or I go back to this game here on Locked On Syracuse when talking about upsets in college basketball or in basketball in general. It comes a lot down to three-point shooting sometimes. I mean, go back to a couple NCAA tournaments ago with Kentucky taking on Oakland, and Jack Goki hits 10 three-pointers in one game, and there's nothing that Kentucky can do about it. Kentucky was by far and away the more talented team, but one guy gets hot, and next thing you know, it can completely change a game. And so when I look at Cal could be that type of team this year where I don't know exactly where they are going to end up. Chances are they're going to be average to above average this season. But if they can maintain this really good shooting from three-point land, I would not be surprised if they can pull off more upsets like we saw them do against UCLA. Now, here's where we get a little tricky. NC State at number 9. The Will Wade era has been a mixed bag so far. Is that fair to say, NC State fans? I'm not trying to pick on NC State too much, but it's been a little bit underwhelming. They haven't been awful, but I'm kind of left wanting a little bit more from NC State. Obviously, they are better than last year, a team that did not make the ACC tournament. But right now, NC State is a team that is a big beneficiary of preseason expectations, because I'm not sure with their resume right now that they would be in the projected NCAA tournament field if they were not projected to be in the NCAA tournament field in the preseason. And also, I think their net ranking is pretty high too. It's like top 30 in the nation. I don't really understand it. They have 7 wins. Their most impressive win, it's quad 1, just so happens to be Boise State. That same Boise State team that lost to a Division II team to start the season, which doesn't count to the net, and that's a whole separate conversation. They've also lost to Seton Hall by double digits. They lost to Auburn by double digits. They also have a loss to Texas. I'm not burying NC State because they do have talent and they do have time to figure it out. We even saw last year with a team like Louisville and Pat Kelsey, they were not perfect to start the season. And then as the season kept going, that team got better and better and better. So maybe that is the case with NC State and Will Wade. Right now, they are projected to make the NCAA tournament, but I have not been that impressed with NC State. Still have them in the upper half of the ACC power rankings. Next, we get to this clump right here, 10 through 14. Maybe these teams can do something. These teams have a shot, but I need to see a lot more from them. You got Wake Forest at 10. They're pretty sneaky. They don't have any quad 1 or quad 2 wins this season, so they have beaten nobody. That's what really holds them back. But hear me out for a moment on Wake Forest and their resume so far. A 1-point loss in overtime to Michigan. You know that same Michigan team that went to Vegas and curb stomped everyone into the ground? Yeah, that team. Wake Forest took them to overtime and lost by 1. They also have a 1-point loss to Texas Tech, another team that is comfortably projected to make the NCAA tournament. So Wake Forest is a little bit sneaky, a little intriguing. Is Wake Forest a team that could maybe make a run and go to the NCAA tournament this year? Comment your thoughts right now in the comment section below. Virginia Tech, another team that is tracking to be a lot better than where they were at last year, 8-2 overall. My question for Virginia Tech is very simple. Do they plan on playing defense this season? Because currently Virginia Tech is third worst in the ACC in points allowed per game. Maybe if they start playing some defense, that team could, start to go up in the power rankings. Number 12, Syracuse. Hey, that's my team that I cover. I'm sure Syracuse fans are going to be thrilled that I have them at number 12. And I should mention that I'm recording this before Syracuse plays St. Joseph's. Take that for what it's worth. I hope they win, but I'm not. They should. Let's just put it that way. I hope by the time you're watching or listening to this, you know the outcome of the Syracuse game, and they won pretty comfortably. They're on their home floor. Now, they have a nice win against Tennessee, and they do have 3 losses, but those 3 losses were to Houston in overtime, Kansas by double digits, and an embarrassing loss to Iowa State. But the reason why I mention that is because while they have 3 losses versus other teams on this list that have less than them, Syracuse has played a tough schedule. So it makes sense why they would have more losses. Problem with Syracuse right now, and it's very, very simple. They can't shoot. That's it. They can't shoot. Prior to the game against St. Joseph's, and hopefully it changes, second worst in the ACC in 3-point percentage. Okay, that's not very good. How about their free throw shooting? By far and away, last in the ACC. They shoot less than 60% from the free throw line as a team. And that's why they lost to the Houston Cougars in Vegas. Could you imagine where Syracuse would be on this list and in bracketology boards and all that fun stuff if they had beaten Houston? All they had to do was make their free throws. And at 13, and this one stinks. I'm not going to lie. Notre Dame. Because Notre Dame should probably be a little bit higher on this list. But for the second straight season, unfortunately, their star guard and Marcus Burton is going to miss significant time. And if Notre Dame does not have Marcus Burton, they're screwed. They are not going anywhere without him. Yeah, they could probably beat the cupcakes on their schedule, but once they get into ACC play, if they don't have Marcus Burton, they're not going to win many games. They can still be competitive. They can still pull out some wins, but they're not doing anything. So it stinks, but I have to rank them lower because of an unfortunate injury to Marcus Burton. And finally, you have the bad tier. These teams are just not very good. Stanford, their record's good. Look at their schedule. Not good. Florida State, not good. Pitt, not good. Georgia Tech, bad. Boston College is Boston College. So that's it for ACC basketball power rankings. Comment your power rankings right now in the comment section below. As far as what's coming up on Locked On ACC, the next episode will be with your regular hosts, Alex Dano and Kenton Gibbs. I will be back next Friday to discuss the college football playoff because the Miami Hurricanes are set to take on the Texas A&M Aggies. Thank you all so much for watching. Thank you all so much for listening. If you like this podcast, be sure to hit that like button. If you really enjoy the podcast, be sure to hit subscribe. Tell all your friends about Locked On ACC, and I will see you all again next week.